after me. Today is a new day, and I command this day to rise up and meet me mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially as I announce my superpowers to the world. I am grateful and full of determination. I am consistent with myself and my business. I am extremely successful. I am a powerful, forward-thinking business owner. I am easily attracting my ideal customers and clients. I provide products and services that people want and need. I easily attract an abundance of sales. My income is consistently increasing. I am a multi-millionaire. I am abundantly wealthy. I am committed to my goals, and I am disconnected from strategies that do not work. I am respected and revered by my peers. I am a secured entrepreneur. I am generating, protecting, and multiplying large amounts of money daily. I am a massive wealth builder, and I am making a global impact. I am blessed with abundant increase of favors. My name is famous and distinguished. I am enjoying lucrative joint venture opportunities purposely designed to prosper me. I am getting richer and richer by the day. I am experiencing supernatural progress and prosperity. I am daily implementing prosperous business strategies. I am a leader, and I create meaningful business opportunities for myself and others. My business allows me to live the lifestyle that I desire, and I am experiencing an overflow of wealth, excellent health, love, and happiness. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's about 10 minutes after 3 right now. I did think to go to bed last night, but in the midnight hour, things started coming, a whole lot of downloads. And how many of the secured entrepreneurs know that you've got to work until the work is done? Okay. In this video, I want to really talk to the secured entrepreneurs about affirming your calling, simply because of the emails that some of you are sending, and thank you for emailing. Please continue to do so at info@AurorahDeyConsulting.com. Many times, the reason why what it is that you are trying to do, accomplish, as it relates to how you're going to earn your living for the rest of your life, has to do with the fact that you really have not affirmed it. You have not affirmed yourself. You have not affirmed the thing that you are here to do. Okay, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Okay, this doesn't work, I'll do this. This is not working, let me switch to this. You haven't really stayed confident. You haven't really stayed consistent. You haven't really done the work to see a thing start and yield a result. Okay, so this is why Miss Aurorah has put this whole thing in place to affirm your calling. So I'm sure you heard at the beginning of the video the Secured Entrepreneur Creed, which are our affirmations. Okay, so there's going to be a link in the description box here on YouTube for you to go to the page to affirm your call. Okay, and what we're doing is embedding these affirmations. We're conditioning ourselves, because one thing Miss Aurorah can tell everyone, if you're new here to the channel, welcome. Okay, one thing Miss Aurorah can tell everyone is that you start saying these things for 21 days, and I'm telling you, soaking it in. You're going to go places, and you'll have an adverse thought, and that affirmation is going to pop right into your mind. It's going to check in with the receptionist in your mind and tell you, oh no, this is the truth. Okay, that's the lie right there. That's trying to be fed to you, but this right here is the truth. So I want you to really get into that. Okay, so now I had the opportunity to talk with a young lady who emailed, and she was sharing with Miss Aurorah that she's been, she's a Christian. That's number one. She's a Christian, and she's been being made to feel guilty about why it is she's not having success in her business. Okay. And she was told that it had everything to do with her not tithing. All right. Disclaimer. Many of the secured entrepreneurs know that Miss Aurorah respects all walks of spirituality, whatever it is that you do spiritually. I respect that. If you are in a particular religion, I respect that. Okay. I don't judge anyone. So please, whatever you hear in these videos at 3 a.m., because this is the 3 a.m. shenanigan. Okay. Please, if you want to comment, be sensible. That's all Miss Aurorah asked, because we're in conversation with one another. This is a dialogue, right? So one of the things that I have always found with some Christians is that they don't read the book. They don't read the Bible. And most churches will use the King James version of the Bible. So I asked her what religious sect she is referring to, so that I can give her the reference. Now, many of the secured entrepreneurs know that I have had the opportunity and been extremely blessed to travel into the Middle East. And I have had many conversations with Muslims. I have had many conversations with Jewish Christians, Jewish rabbis, okay, and to study the book for myself, okay. So a lot of the things that the young lady was sharing with Miss Aurorah were not scripturally based. Okay. Now I'm going to say something. It might be a little triggering to people. Okay. So just please be open to this. So now I asked the young lady where she is getting her tithing law, because there's a whole thing. Now we have universal laws, which a lot of people like to abide by the universal laws, because it's happening whether you consciously are participating in the law or not. These things are happening, right? It's better that you know, so that you can govern yourself accordingly. So I asked her to show me in the King James version of the Bible, because she said that's the book that her church uses, right? What tithing law she is abiding by. And she said she don't know. This is just what the minister has taught. These are the things that her family believes. And when she does not have any tithe, she is feeling extremely guilty. And now she's being told that nothing is really working for her because she has an inability to pay her tithes. And I was like, wow, this is deep. This is deep. So I'm going to share with all of the secured entrepreneurs what I shared with this young lady. I'm going to put all the text on the screen because Miss Aurorah cannot make this up. So for all of my secured entrepreneurs who are going through this. You're having this guilt to which you're not supposed to carry that feeling, because what that's going to do is attach a whole bunch of other things to you that would serve as blocks in your life. Okay, so you shouldn't even carry that energy. It's bad, right? So I took her to the actual tithing law, because many people abide by the laws in the King James Version. It is the Old Testament, okay? For a lot of my Jewish friends, it is the Talmud, right? Okay, so it is in Deuteronomy chapter 14. I'm going to start at chapter 14 when we talk about the tithing laws, okay? You must set aside a tithe of your crops, because remember, this was all agricultural. 1/10 of all the crops you harvest each year. Bring this tithe to the place the Lord your God chooses for his name to be honored, and eat it there in his presence. This applies to your tithes of grain, new wine, olive oil, and the firstborn males of your flocks and herds. The purpose of tithing is to teach you always to fear the Lord your God. Now, the place the Lord your God chooses for his name to be honored might be a long way from your home. If so, you may sell the tithe portion of your crops and herds and take the money to the place the Lord your God chooses. When you arrive, use the money to buy anything you want: an ox, a sheep, some wine, or beer. Then feast there in the presence of the Lord your God and celebrate with your household. And do not forget the Levites in your community, for they have no inheritance as you do. At the end of every 3rd year, bring the tithe of all your crops and store it in the nearest town. Give it to the Levites who have no inheritance among you, as well as to the foreigners living among you, the orphans and the widows in your towns, so they can eat and be satisfied. Then the Lord your God will bless you in all your work. Okay, so that's the first part that I pointed out to the young lady, because, you know, I don't want to get too deep in this video because it's really fiery. Okay, so let me just stay here. So we see that from the beginning, the Israelites were not told to give a tithe every Wednesday when you went to church, every Sunday when you went to church, every Tuesday when you went to church. Okay, and I haven't gotten to the offerings yet, so don't beat the horns. She is referring to tithing. Okay, so we see that the first was every year, right? Every year, all of 1/10 of your best, okay, was to be taken to the place where the Lord your God chose for you to go and enjoy it in his presence. So we see that the 1/10 was for the people. 1/10 of that, you come into my presence and you enjoy that, whatever it is that you want, you enjoy it in my presence. That was the original tithe. And then every 3rd year, they were instructed to now you begin to give it to others, the orphans, people who are in need, the foreigners in your town. Okay, that's part of the original tithing law. Okay. Amazingly enough, she got into her debts, because what she's being told is the reason why she can't get from under the debts that she's created for herself is because she is not paying tithes. I said, well, same chapter, same book, right? Okay, we're going to address that. So here we go. Chapter 15. At the end of every 7th year, you must cancel your debts. This is how it must be done. Creditors must cancel the loans they have made to their fellow Israelites. They must not demand payment from their neighbors or relatives, for the Lord's time of release has arrived. This release from debt, however, applies only to your fellow Israelites, not to the foreigners living among you. There should be no poor among you, for the Lord your God will greatly bless you in the land he is giving you as a special possession. You will receive this blessing if you carefully obey the commands of the Lord your God that I am giving you today. The Lord your God will bless you as he has promised. You will lend money to many nations, but you will never need to borrow. You will rule many nations, but they will not rule over you. But if there are any poor people in your towns, when you arrive in the land the Lord your God is giving you, do not be hard-hearted or tight-fisted toward them. Instead, be generous and lend them whatever they need. Do not be mean-spirited and refuse someone a loan, because the year of release is close at hand. If you refuse to make the loan and the needy person cries out to the Lord, you will be considered guilty of sin. Give freely without begrudging it, and the Lord your God will bless you in everything you do. There will always be some among you who are poor. That is why I am commanding you to share your resources freely with the poor and with other Israelites in need. Okay. So far, the only place where we heard about money was if the place the Lord your God commanded for you to go and enjoy your 1/10 of a tithe was far away from your home. He allowed them to sell their 1/10 and take that money, okay, so that they could get to the place where it was, and then they were able to go there and spend the money on whatever it is that they wanted and enjoy it in the presence of the Most High God. Okay. Now, find it not odd that you're seeing here the release of debt is 7 years. What else is released in 7 years? If you got something bad on your credit report, 7 years, time's up, right? Don't get Miss Aurorah started. Whatever type of documentation, files, things like that you're keeping, you're supposed to keep those for 7 years, okay? Also, the word there is talking about if someone came to serve you, you had to release them if they came willfully. That's what the word says. If somebody came to serve you willfully, they were to do it for 7 years, then you were to release them, okay? So that's really the thing that I wanted to point out to this young lady and whomever else feels like they're in bondage to things that somebody made up. You know, if you're following a particular type of religion and you cannot find it in your guidebook, your roadmap, right? Then you're going to have to now understand why it is that you feel depressed, why it is you feel stressed, why it is you feel forsaken, why it is you feel disappointed, okay? Why it is you feel like you are not succeeding, why it is you feel like you are not progressing, because maybe it's that you are believing something that is not true, okay? So now if this is the book that you are taking your guidance from, now you have to apply it to how it is for you today. Okay, so maybe you're not growing crops, you don't have grain, you don't have an ox, all these things that they were talking about at that time to enjoy, because that was the tithe. And then, like I said, so 1 year was every year you were going to enjoy this whole thing in the presence of God. Every 3 years, you were going to now give that stuff to orphans, to people who were poor, the Levites, the people who, your priests, things of that nature. And then in the 7th year, you were to release people from debts. Why? Because you were so plentiful that you didn't need to borrow anything. You don't need, he said, you are to lend. He never said you're going to start giving away your stuff and be destitute. He said you're going to lend and you'll never need to borrow because you are prosperous. Everything about you is prosperous because you're supposed to be living and walking and being in your purpose, right? So this is why scripture says that your gifts will make room for you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Your gifts will make room for you, right? So when it is that you are not operating in your gifts, your talents, your abilities, if you're not living on purpose, then there is an issue. Okay, so now the other thing that the young lady was conflicted about was what she's really supposed to be doing, right? And how it is now that this journey has been so long for her to figure out what it is she's supposed to be doing. She has accumulated a lot of debt. So I said, well, the book covers that as well. And there are several stories, but the one that really applied most to her was the story about, and it's very significant, which is why I said, this is really, it's very interesting that we're here. The story about the widow whose husband served a priest. Okay, the husband served the priest, and he transitioned. Now, clearly, the man was very spiritual. He did not make a way financially for his wife and his children when he passed. There was nothing. So she goes to the priest and she says, my husband, your servant, he served you, he served God. Now he is dead. We've got a lot of debt. And the collectors are coming to collect my 2 sons so they can serve off the debt. Because how many of the secured entrepreneurs know that debtor's prison still exists? It's nothing new. You're in jail, you got a debt. Okay? You're in jail because of a debt. No matter what you did, it's considered a debt, right? Debtor's prison is real. So my 2 sons are about to get taken to pay off my husband's debt. Okay, now, the very interesting thing here is what I pointed out to the young lady is, if you have not received an instruction, you must wait for one. You will always receive an instruction as to how you're going to make your way out of anything that is unpleasant for you. So the priest asked this widow, what do you want me to do for you, right? Okay. And he said, what is it that you have in your hand? Now, like Miss Aurorah was sharing with everyone, I've had the opportunity to study with some great people, okay? And a lot of religious scholars say that many of the things that we have read, especially in the Old Testament, are really referring to, sexual things and all of that. So upon having this conversation, I said, well, this story is now making way more sense, right? But we're going to stay on. Okay, so she says, I don't have anything except some oil. She was even downgrading the oil, right? And isn't that what we do? Okay, so he said, okay. So here was the instruction. Here's the instruction. Whew, Lord, it's coming on me now. Whew, okay. Here's the instruction. Go borrow some vessels. Borrow not a few. Borrow some empty vessels. Borrow not a few, right? You and your sons. Go behind closed doors and begin to pour the oil into those empty vessels until there is no more. That's part 1 of the instruction. Part 2, sell the oil, pay off your debt, and live off of the rest. Okay. Many of the secured entrepreneurs, if you're having a situation like this young lady and she's saying, I don't really know how this thing is going to happen. Okay. Wait for your instruction. I kid you not. Wait for your instruction. It may come at the weirdest time, but check out how that's still abiding by even the tithing law. Okay, because she was instructed to take what it is that she had. Take what it is that she had. Okay. Don't tell anybody. Nobody has to know what the heaven is going on with you. Nobody even has to know that you are in this type of debt. Okay? Go hide yourself and work this thing out. Because the instruction was for her and her sons. Everybody in the household has to be in agreement. How many of you know? Hello? Don't get me started. Shut the door. Go behind the closed door. Nobody needs to see this because this is your miracle. This is what's being worked out for you. Okay? And how many of you know you got to move in silence? Okay? Start pouring that oil into the vessel. She didn't get any more oil. She had some oil. Okay? They borrowed as many vessels as they could. And the oil ran out when they didn't have any more vessels. Get that, okay? Then she's instructed to sell that oil because what you have is valuable, okay? Sell that. Pay off the debt and begin to live, okay? So please, secured entrepreneurs, if it is that you are being made to feel guilty, you're putting yourself, you're making yourself feel guilty for not having something, doing something, for things not working out. Okay. Relieve yourself of that. We're coming into 2022. I don't even know when I'm going to put this video up, probably in the new year because so much is going on. Okay. Release yourself. Release yourself. And whatever, spiritual practice, get more into that. If in fact you are, if you are Muslim and you're, there's scriptures in the Quran, I could really get all into that too. I would shock some people. But this young lady happened to be Christian, so we had to do it. Okay, so I had to do this for all of my Christian friends here in the community. Okay, please leave your comments below for everyone in the community who is going through this. We don't want this in the new year. And whatever it is, I just pray for all of the secured entrepreneurs that all of your projects, everything that you're trying to do really, really happens in 2022. Y'all didn't know Miss Aurorah had real rhyming ability. All right, so the links to affirm your call, join the movement. And that's the first thing we do is we affirm our call and we say our affirmations, okay, at the top of the morning, whatever time you wake up, or you might be like Miss Aurorah, you never go to bed, okay? And you can find me, Miss Aurorah, at AurorahDayConsulting.com. And until next time, ta-ta.